Hello YouTube, today we have a 2013 Mercedes E350. We're gonna be replacing the gas tank. This is the new gas tank we're gonna put on. And because there is a hole in the gas tank, that's why we're gonna replace it. Usually this job will take around 8 hours, and we have to remove everything under the gas tank before we can get to it. The exhaust, the drive shaft, the covers. Okay, we begin with removing the covers, the plastic covers. They got some 10mm bolts and some 8mm bolts. And now we're gonna remove those crossbars or reinforcement bars, because this 2013 Mercedes is convertible and it's got 2 doors, so they have some reinforcement bars in the bottom. So we're gonna remove those. After that, we're gonna be removing exhaust system, just halfway, not the whole thing. It's got some brackets holding it and some 10mm on the brackets that's holding the connection between the front side and the back side. It's time to open those. This is the brackets I was talking about for the exhaust. So right now we're gonna remove the drive shaft, and we're gonna remove this heat shield covers to get to the gas tank. Or maybe we will have better look, or we still have to remove. After opening the drive shaft bolt, we remove the covers, and now we're gonna remove the drive shaft itself. It's got some 16mm in the back and 16mm in the front, or 18mm, I'm sorry, and 13mm in the middle, holding the wheel bearing for the drive shaft wheel bearing. Once you remove those, you can just put it on the floor, and now we have a better look on the gas tank. Okay, now we take a look. It's better. We can see the whole gas tank. It's holding with 13mm brackets from both sides. But before we do that, we have to remove the rear end, because that hose coming out, it's one piece with the gas tank. That filling hose that you use to fill up the gas is going over on the top of those, or the rear end. So we remove the cable for the parking brake cable. It just slide on this side and on the other side. You just reach it, move it to one side when we can open, and it will open. Okay, now we're gonna be removing the calipers and the sensor for the brake and the ABS sensor. Those I used 8mm to remove the ABS sensor and the brake sensor. I'm gonna remove the calipers because the hose is holding. Because the hose will stay in the frame, so we have to remove that since the rear end is coming down as one piece. Right now I'm gonna remove the cover, the wheel under well cover or whatever they call it. It's got some clips and some 10 millimeters holding it, so I can follow the the hose that we use to fill up the gas. Okay, we took the cover down. Now this is the hose, is one piece with the gas tank. It's going all the way up, and it's there is hoses going to the canister. We have to take that out too, and some bolts holding these hoses. I think either 11 millimeter, or you can use the hex nuts. This is the caliper we took off, 16 millimeter holding it to the spindle. We took the shock, the bottom bolt for the shock. Now the rear end is holding, after taking everything off, the rear end is holding with the 4 bolts to the frame of the car. But we have to put the car down before we open those bolts, because the springs are pushing everything down. So be careful not to open the bolts while the car is up. It has to be all the way in the floor, and be careful. I put that wood just to hold it. After opening those 4 bolts, I can raise the car up. As you see, the caliper, the shock absorber stays with the car. And this is the rear end as one piece. The differential, the axles, the spindles, the rotors, everything one piece. Right now there is nothing holding us from moving the hose and moving the gas tank down, taking it down. So it's got only brackets, but before we do that, we have to remove the seats, the rear seats. We have to remove this rear seat, which has got one T20 hex notch, and that is in the drink holder covered with the rubber piece. We have to take a rubber piece out and take the T20 out, then pop up the sides of the seats and it will be removed. We have to remove that so we can get to the connectors of the fuel pump and the reserve fuel pump. 8 millimeter to take off the covers on the fuel pump, and the hose for the fuel too. It's coming from that side. So we remove all the connectors and the hoses that we can see. So when we taking the gas tank down, nothing will break or be cut on the way. Regular connectors, you just push it in and pull it up. And in the other side, this is the driver's side, there is a hose and a connector or two connectors and a hose. We have to take these connectors off and the hose off too. The hose, you just push the green piece inside and pull it up at the same time. You see that green piece, you just push it in and pull up. It will come off. Right now everything is off the gas tank, so we can just pull it down and we can replace it. If you replacing the fuel pump, you just open from the end of the seats. You don't have to take this. But if you're doing replacing the gas tank, we have to do this. So we have to open this hose, go into the canister. It's same thing as the other hoses. You gotta push, you push it, pull it off, and we have to remove these 2 bolts, 10 millimeter holding this hose to the frame. Here you go. Now we got it down, and we can replace it with the new one. Once you replace it with the new one, you can just reverse the whole procedure. And thank you for watching this video. So the only thing now left is to remove everything, the fuel pump and everything from the old thing, and put it in the new one, as you see. And now we're ready to put everything back. Reverse the procedure to put everything back, and thank you very much for watching. This is after it's finished.